Rachel never believed silence could be so loud. The kind of silence that fills your chest, pressing against your ribs, making you wonder if heartbreak has a sound. It began on an ordinary Thursday afternoon. She was cleaning out the back seat of Adam's car before his business trip when something shiny caught her eye. A small velvet box hidden beneath the seat. She opened it and froze. Inside was a delicate gold bracelet, glimmering in the sunlight. Attached was a tiny tag that read, "To my forever love, A." Her heart fluttered, and then stopped. Her birthday was last month. Their anniversary was in spring. So who was this for? For a moment, Rachel wanted to believe it was a surprise meant for her. But deep down, she already knew better. That evening, she cooked his favorite dinner, roast chicken with garlic butter and rosemary. She smiled when he walked in, pretending everything was fine. "Wow, this looks amazing," Adam said, kissing her cheek. "What's the occasion?" "No occasion," she replied softly. "Just wanted a quiet night with you." But her mind screamed otherwise. He looked tired, distracted. His phone lit up twice during dinner, both times he flipped it face down. And when she reached for his hand, he flinched slightly, just enough for her to feel the distance between them. She laughed at his jokes, she poured him wine, she even wished him good night with a kiss. But inside, her heart was already packing its bag. The next few days were a blur of forced smiles and silent tears. Adam mentioned a late meeting, then a team dinner, and finally a client trip out of town. The same pattern, the same lies wrapped in politeness. Rachel knew confronting him now would only bring more lies, so she decided to wait. She remembered the little GPS tracker he once bought for her car, just to keep her safe. She found it in the drawer, dusted it off, and slipped it quietly into the pocket of his driver's seat. If he could track her for safety, she thought, she could track him for truth. Friday night, 8:20 p.m. Rachel sat alone on her couch, staring at her phone screen. The blinking dot on the map had stopped moving right outside a five-star hotel downtown. Her pulse quickened. Her heart whispered, "Don't go." But her silence said otherwise. She grabbed her coat and car keys. The city lights blurred past as she drove. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel. Every red light felt like a question, "What if it's not what you think?" But she already knew the answer. The hotel lobby smelled of perfume and polished marble. Couples laughed near the bar. A pianist played something soft and cruelly romantic. Then she saw him. Adam, her husband of 6 years, sitting at a corner table holding another woman's hand. The woman was younger, early 30s maybe, with soft brown curls and a smile that made Rachel's stomach twist. And there it was, the bracelet. The same gold bracelet now shining on that woman's wrist. Rachel stood frozen, her heart refusing to beat. The scene looked almost cinematic, like a romantic film she was never cast in. Adam leaned closer to the woman, brushing her hair behind her ear, whispering something that made her giggle. Rachel took a deep breath, straightened her shoulders, and walked toward them. Her heels clicked against the marble floor like the sound of closing doors. "Adam." Her voice was calm, too calm. He looked up, and his face turned pale. "Rachel?" he stammered. "What are you... how did you—" She smiled faintly and held out her hand. "You dropped this in your car," she said, placing the empty velvet box on the table. The woman looked confused. "What's going on?" Rachel turned to her gently. "Don't worry, I just came to return what was never mine." Then she slipped her wedding ring from her finger, placed it beside his glass, and whispered, "You can give this back when you remember what love actually means." Adam tried to speak, maybe to lie, maybe to beg, but Rachel didn't wait to hear it. She turned and walked out. Every step away felt like freedom, like she was finally breathing after years underwater. Outside, rain had started to fall, soft and steady, like the world was washing away her pain. She stood beneath the awning, her reflection trembling in the puddles. A hotel bellboy offered her an umbrella. She shook her head. "No need," she said softly. "I'm done hiding from the storm." As she walked toward her car, she realized something beautiful. She hadn't lost anything tonight. She'd just discovered what was never hers to begin with. Later, in her small apartment downtown, Rachel sat by the window, watching the city lights blur in the rain. She took out her journal and wrote, "Sometimes love doesn't end with shouting. Sometimes it ends in silence, when you realize the person you loved is already gone." She closed the notebook, smiled faintly, and whispered to herself, "Happy anniversary, Rachel. You remembered the gift this time yourself." When loyalty becomes one-sided, would you still fight for them, or finally choose yourself?